Swimming like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond in the shrimp tank. When it's
Hey everybody, welcome to the post-show wrap-up of the Shrimp Tank. I am your co-host, Ted Jenkins. This week, my co-host was Lee Heisman. We also brought in Joey Roos today, joined us from Kennesaw State University, which is great. And of course, we had our guest today, Joanne Hayes, who is the founder and publisher of Simply Buckhead magazine and several other magazines that you must check out. As always, if you did not see the replay, we'll always be on shrimptankpodcast.com. You can download us on iTunes and not only learn from the 100 entrepreneurs that we've interviewed in and around the state of Georgia, but with the fabulous interview we have with Joanne today, all about starting a magazine and running an organization.
Joanne, the show was awesome, and if you have a chance, you want to go back and listen to it in its entirety. But, you're a unique breed of an entrepreneur. A lot of entrepreneurs come out of school, especially at KSU with the Entrepreneurship Center. But you're an entrepreneur that started a business later in life. What are the things that you find to be positive about that and the things you maybe don't like as much?
Well, I think the most positive thing is that you're older and you're wiser, and you've had the life experience to take you into that entrepreneurship. If I had started when I was younger, I probably would have magazines all over the country at this point and be a publisher of a conglomerate. But doing it a little bit older, we've had to really be focused and targeted on where we grow and how we grow. And, we're a little bit closer to retirement age than most people would be in this industry. So we're going to continue to grow as we see the right fit. I'm nowhere near retiring, even though I am a little older and was older when I started. If I'd known what I know now, I would have started when I was younger, but I didn't. And I'm glad that I had the lessons I did to get me to this place to start when I was older.
Nice. And Mr. Joanne, we talked a little bit about your history and going all the way back to your college days when you were a history major up in Rhode Island. And I just found that fascinating that you started out in history and then ended up in publishing. Can you talk a little bit about the journey that you took?
Mm-hmm. Well, I was a history major at the University of Rhode Island. I actually studied abroad in India for 2.5 years as a history major, and then came back to the University of Rhode Island and graduated with that major. And a large part of a history major is study and research and, really fine-tuning your skills in those areas. And that one particular skill, I'm very passionate about research and learning and reading, and that particular skill serves you extremely well when you're in the media industry.
Joanne, a lot of entrepreneurs that are watching the broadcast today are wondering, how do you build relationships? And you've been a master at building relationships all over the city of Atlanta. I'm amazed about how many places I go. And you know somebody just about everywhere that we go. What kind of advice would you give to someone that's watching the post-show wrap-up today about how to get good at building relationships?
I'm going to go back to something I said during the podcast, and it's actually inspiring from somebody else that I'm really inspired by, and that's Jesse Itzler. And it's all about picking up the phone. And it's really hard. Not everybody's a salesperson. However, I think in any business that you own or work for, there is sales involved. You're selling yourself, you're selling a service, you're selling a product. And I think you have to actually pick up the phone, kind of develop your self-confidence, and get over yourself and move beyond that. If you're not confident enough to pick up a phone, how are you going to meet people? So my forte is literally picking up a phone and asking for a meeting. You have nothing to lose. The person will say no or they'll say yes. And if they say no, you can just say, can I call you back at another time? And sometimes it takes 2 or 3 years to get a foot in the door, but you can't ever pass off anybody that you meet as somebody that you might not work with later on.
I guess that means that everybody who's under 20 years old will never make a sale because they don't know how to pick up the phone. They know how to pick up the phone. They just don't call on the phone.
Well, and again, with research, it's really important in our business. Our editors, our salespeople, everybody picks up a phone. Our staff, we've got folks in their 20s, and I've got writers who are in their 50s.
And Joanne, for those folks that are going to come into Atlanta, since you know Buckhead so well, what would you tell them might be the top 3 restaurants? I mean, it'd be hard to do it, but that they should go to when they come in and dine in Buckhead.
Oh, that's such a hard question.
Give me 3 good ones. We won't say they're the top, but 3 good ones.
3 good ones.
Easier.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Well, we love Davio's.
That's good
we
food.
do a lot of entertaining there. We do a lot of our business meetings there. Steve DeFilippo's become a really good friend, and we love doing business with Davio's. They've been extremely supportive of our publication. Also, Buckhead Life Restaurant Groups. I love Atlanta Fish Market. I love Preachy. We love Bistro Nico. Those 3 restaurants are excellent. Oh my gosh, there's just so many. How do you pick?
Well,
how do you pick?
Those are 2 really good choices in there, Davios and the Buckhead Life Group. So for folks that are watching the post-show wrap-up and they want to learn more about just reading the magazine, learning more potentially about advertising for their business out there, how can they get in touch with you and learn more about the magazine? Well,
they can reach out to me at publisher@simplybuckhead.com. Or call us at 404-538-9895. We're simplybuckhead.com, 17south.com, buckheadview.com. I'm probably the most accessible publisher. I have a policy of returning phone calls or emails in less than an hour, unless I'm tied up doing something like this. You'll hear from me within an hour if you don't get me on the first ring.
So for you entrepreneurs out there, think about this. You too can be a history major, and then one day you can run a magazine and follow in the footsteps of Joanne. It's a true spirit of entrepreneurship that you can do anything you want to do if you put your mind to it. And that's the post-show wrap-up of the Shrimp Tank.